Welcome everyone from every corner of the internet to Useless Facts with your host Resident Unleashed. Today's useless facts come from what many would argue is a cult classic within the MegaTen franchise, Persona 3, with the focus being on the various personas that you can summon throughout the game. These other selves must all possess some things that we don't need to know in order to survive, but it always brings us satisfaction when we find and learn about them. So sit back, relax, and join me as we look at the useless facts about all of the Persona 3 personas. While using cheats to get the full compendium in Persona 4, there are 5 extra slots in the compendium: 034, 0B4, 0B5, 02B in the full arcana, including Izanagi no Akami. The slots 0B4 and 0B5 have a portrait of Orpheus, but when summoned, they appear as a slime. Legion's name is first stated in Mark 9 of the Bible. In this chapter, Jesus encounters a man who is possessed by many demons that give him superhuman strength but at the cost of his sanity. When Jesus asked for the man's name, the demon responded that his name was Legion, for we are many. Ose in Shin Megami Tensei Tokyo Revelation is called Satan in the English dub, but is called President in the original Japanese version. Black Frost makes an appearance in the game The Alchemist Code, as a part of a Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster promotion. The appearance of Decorabia is strongly reminiscent of the Pyrons, a race of aliens seen in the 1956 film A Warning from Space. The Pyrons were later referenced in the 1983 Daikon TV animation, which was a highly influential promotional short produced for the Daikon convention by a small team of animators that would go on to become major anime production, Studio Gainax. In a popularity poll on demons in the Megami Tensei series from 2017 in Japan, Loki received the 10th highest voter turnout of all demons. SUSANO-O is either a signature or ultimate persona for 3 characters throughout the franchise. These characters are Masao Inaba, Yosuke Hanamura, and Yusuke Kitagawa. Not only is Hermes the initial persona of Junpei Iori, he is also the initial persona of Jun Kurosu in Persona 2 Innocent Sin. Trismegistus's helmet and armor is a reference to the Ripley Scroll, a hermetic treatise purporting to tell the process to fabricate the Philosopher's Stone, the powerful elixir said to bestow eternal life and transmute lead into gold. The references are the bird-like helm and wings in the red stone it holds in its beak, and the name itself, Trismegistus being the honorary title of the famed alchemist Hermes. Also, the Ripley Scroll makes continuous reference to the bird of Hermes. Nekomata are also known as Bake Neko in Japanese folklore. Jack Frost's counterpart, also known as his brothers, are called Pyro Jack and Jack the Ripper, along with many other varieties that also appear in many games. He often says he-ho and interjects he's and ho's into his dialogue, a common verbal tic shared with the other variation of Jacks. Pyro Jack originally looked like an anthropomorphic pumpkin. In Devil Summoner Raiden Kuzunoha vs the Soulless Army, Sati is immune to gun-type damage, which means that Raiden is unable to capture the demon without a demon that possesses an ice-type ability. Ouroboros' name is said to come from the Latin word Ourobius, which is a type of incense. Rangda is also known as Randa in Demikid's Light and Dark. In Shin Megami Tensei 4, Surt is the only source of the Ragnarok skill. Lucia makes an appearance in Love Live School Idol Festival as an outfit for Hanamaru Kunikida. The term JUNO is also used to describe the Roman concept of a female guardian angel, the male being referred to as a genius. In the Demikid series, Asperos is a bird rather than a human. Unicorn in Shin Megami Tensei Imagine is one of the many mountable demons in the game. Unlike many other demons though, it has 2 different variations with entirely different mount animations. Sarasvati's origins are from Hindu mythology, but she also serves a unique role in Japanese mythology. In Japanese mythology, she is known as Benzaitan, and is one of the 7 lucky gods that are believed to grant good luck to those who pray at their shrines. Ganga was born from the toe of Vishnu. Sati and Parvati share the pink irises, manicure and pedicure. The shade of Kokurahime's dress, vermilion red, is also the dominant color of a Japanese priestess's dress. Skahath is also known as the Shadowy One in Irish mythology. Mitsuru has to go past level 50 before Marin Karin can be removed from Penthesilea. There is currently no statement as to which of the two origins serves as the main concept for Artemisia's creation in the game. Lenin Side only possesses the Empress Arcana in Persona 3. In all other games she is in, she falls under the Lover's Arcana. In Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster, this demon's name was changed from Lakshmi to Lakshmi. Hariti was originally an ogress who slew human in her original mythology, which is most likely the reason why she has fangs in her artwork from Shin Megami Tensei. In Persona 3, Gabriel can generate the heart item Frozen Stone, which nullifies ice damage directed towards the bearer. Mother Harlot is summoned by Makoto Yuki in Persona 3 the movie. Skadi is the only persona in Persona 3 that is able to learn the most powerful ice skill in the game, Niflheim. Ali-Lat was one of the three main idols that was worshipped by the people of Mecca before Islam was spread by the Prophet Muhammad. Legends describe her idol to be a deification of a man who used a stone to grind cereal for the pilgrims visiting pre-Islamic Mecca. Akihiko Sanada's Japanese voice actor, Hikaru Midorikawa, commented on Persona Stalker Club that he was terrified by Polydeuces' design at first glance. Caesar's only appearances throughout the MegaTen franchise have been as Akihiko Sanada's ultimate persona. In Last Bible 3, Fornius has a yellow fin on his back. Oberon is known as King Fly in the PlayStation version of the first Persona. In the original release of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Take Mikazuchi was just known as Mikazuchi, until it was changed in the HD remaster. King Frost's battle theme in Devil Summoner Soul Hackers is a slightly updated version of Dr. Thrill's theme. Raja Naga are the many kings of the Nagas in Hindu mythology, but are also the leaders of the Naga and the protectors for Buddha in Buddhist mythology. Kingu had a dragon-like design in Gitten Megami Tensei Tokyo Mokushiroku. The earlier design of Barong was brown and green rather than white and blue. Odin is often associated with lightning in the franchise, but in mythology, he is never mentioned as a god of lightning or the sky, unlike his son Thor. Castor was the reason why Ken Amada's house was crushed and ultimately why his parents passed away. This was an accident by Shinjiro while he was on a seized mission and was covered up by the Kirijo group, with Mitsuru mentioning that her family most likely pinned the blame on a car crash. Omoi Kane is the first persona in Persona 3 Fez with access to the Unradi and Mipatra skills. According to the writings in the Lesser Key of Solomon, Berith is a great Duke of Hell with 26 legions of demons under his command. In the original Shin Megami Tensei, Florus is a palette-swapped Ose. Hotuko Seikun is contained as leftover data for Shin Megami Tensei 9 and is part of the Reaper race. Anata together with the persona Vishnu can perform a fusion spell, Infinity, which makes the whole party invincible for one round. In the original Shin Megami Tensei, Daisoju was known as High Priest. In Persona 3, Koryu's heart item is Koryu's Scale, which nullifies strike damage to the bearer. Io appears as a palette swap for Tomoe in Persona 4 Arena. Isis is acquired by Yukari after learning the truth about her father and strengthening her resolve. Pixie is featured in the game Puzzle and Dragons. In Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, Narcissus can be used in Mystic Change to create a Narcissus Flower, an item that makes it easier to negotiate with female demons. In Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, Queen Mab can only be acquired through fusion. Fusion for all Mitamas in Devil Survivor 2 can only be unlocked in a New Game Plus. To reference her role in A Midsummer Night's Dream, the protagonist in Persona 3 can use the fusion spell Summer Dream when Titania is paired up with Oberon. Summer Dream creates random effects upon execution. Raphael is one of the 4 archangels in the service of and is usually seen with Gabriel, Uriel, and Michael. Aside from returning as the ultimate persona of the Lover's Arcana in Persona 3 Fez, Sibel can be fused with any Nihil weapon to obtain Sabazios, a weapon in the form of gloves that inflicts ice damage and grants the user ice boost. Apart from her appearance as Aegis' instant kill, Paladin also appears as a palette swap for Ariadne when Labris is using her Aegis palette. This gives her the distinction of being the only persona in the game who appears as both a usable persona and as an ultimate palette. In Persona 3, Athena holds her traditional shield reflecting the head of Medusa. This shield is known as the Aegis of Athena. In Devil Children White Book, a chimera named Clay is the partner to the protagonist Masaki Kuzuha. In Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Zochoten's name was shortened to Jocho. The HD remaster includes his full name. Ares was most often characterized as a coward in spite of his connection to war. He responded to even the slightest injury with outrage. Omitsunu makes an appearance in the manga Devil Summoner, Raiden Kuzunoha vs. the Lone Marebito. Nata Taishi is known in Chinese lore as Neza. This persona appears in the classic Chinese stories Fengshen Yanyi and Journey to the West. Komoku-ten's name was shortened in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne to Komoku. This was changed in the HD remaster to his full name. Despite Thor being explicitly described as red-haired, he is never depicted as such in the games of the series. Nemesis was the cause of Narcissus falling in love with his reflection in a pool of water, which ultimately led to Narcissus' death. Kala Nemi is the pre-Vedic spirit of the Zodiac, encircling the universe like a great serpent. In the PSP release of Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, the angel sprite was censored compared to the original design. In this version, the sprite resembles the design introduced with Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, but retains the palette of the original. In Archangel's artwork that originated from Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, he wears a shield on the back of his right shoulder. This detail is only faithfully reproduced in his 3D model from Shin Megami Tensei Liberation DX2, while his model in Persona 5 does not carry it. Principality is known as Prince in Demi-Kid's Light and Dark. Power made an appearance in Devil Summoner 2, the animation. In Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, the White Rider can summon up to 2 Virtue during combat. In the Escorting Your Comrade challenge quest from Shin Megami Tensei 4, Dominion will be one of the angels guarding Naraku, that Flynn must defend Navarre against on the way into Tokyo. In Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Throne evolves into Uriel through leveling up. The Demi-Fiend must have defeated Uriel as a boss at Mifunashiro before being able to evolve him. In the Persona 3 anime, Melchizedek was summoned by Makoto against the Arcana Hanged Man. Because Jin is notably left-handed, Morris' only hand is a left hand. In Megami Tensei, the Motsu Shikome was a floating red head with green eyes. Naga makes an appearance in the Persona 2 spin-off manga, Persona Sumi to Batsu, as the persona to Yakumo Kusaka. Lamia's first design was different to the one we all know today. Her hair was green, her eyes were red, and her snake half was brown. Taraka was summoned off-screen in the Persona 3 anime to attack the Arcana Strength and the Arcana Fortune, but fails. She was obtained after the Hermit Arcana was defeated. Kurama Tengu's 3D models differ slightly between Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, but the latter incarnation features fewer facial details, resulting in a younger-looking Kurama Tengu. Naboris requires the protagonist to be level 50 and have the marionette key item in order to fuse in Persona 3. The fusion also can't be performed until after the 21st of the 9th, due to the item being part of a request. Arahabaki's design is based on the goggled-eyed Dogu, a type of clay figurine made during the Jomon period of prehistoric Japan. It is possible to hack HYPNOS for the Persona 3 protagonist to use, but unlike party member personas, he has no voice clip for HYPNOS. Instead, a different persona's clip, for example Rangda, will play instead. As the persona has no default stats level or other data, even Arcana, without any further codes to change their stats and abilities, the game will crash when using it. In Shin Megami Tensei 5, Fortuna can only be obtained through fusion. Clotho's dialogue before the Demi-Fiend fights her for the first time is expanded from the original Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne in the HD remaster, in which she suggests to make the Demi-Fiend a lover of the Morai sisters. In the Japanese version, this new dialogue is even more suggestive, that she implies to keep the Demi-Fiend like a lover pet for the sisters. Maxing out the Fortune social link and fusing Lachesis with her sisters in a triangle spread will create Norn, the most powerful persona of the Fortune Arcana in Persona 3. Atropos is the persona that represents the bond between Yu and Naoto in Persona 4 the animation. Norn can only be fused by using Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos once the current protagonist has reached level 66 or higher in Persona Q, Shadow of the Labyrinth. You can access the original Cerberus in Persona 3 by using a cheat device. Valkyrie can be obtained by evolving Dis in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. The armor worn by Titan in Kaneko's portrayal is the Lorica Segmentata. It is attested that the conventional use of such armor started from about 9 BC, making it too modern for any mythic Titan to have. Jikokuten's name in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne was shortened to Jikoku, but his full name was restored in the HD remaster. In Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Hanuman can be obtained by evolving an Oncut to level 42 or higher. Hanuman can also evolve into Wukong by leveling up to level 50 or higher. Persona 3 is the only Persona game that has Narasimha as part of the Strength Arcana. In every other Persona game he appears in, he is part of the Sun Arcana. Kali is a Hindu goddess associated with death, time, and destruction. In Persona 3 Fez, Siegfried can be fused with a Nihil weapon to create the Balmung. Medea appears as a palette swap for Konohana Sakuya in Persona 4 Arena when using Yukiko Amagi's Chidori palette swap. Should the protagonist attempt to talk to a Shiki Oji in Shin Megami Tensei 5 with Inugami in his stock, Inugami may interject and have a conversation with Shiki Oji. Take Minakata is the favorite demon of Kazuma Kaneko, as evidenced in a Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne interview. Authoress's early designs in the series depicted him with one head as opposed to two. In Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, Vasuki acts as one of the two Chaos Field bosses tied to the Invoke system and will appear in Ueno once every hour, during weeks when the Chaos alignment dominates the system. While being a different god, Ubelurus does have the same design as Oya Matsumi, even while appearing in the same game. Artis makes an appearance in the Persona 3 anime. In Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, Loa can only be acquired through fusion. Pale Rider can only be fused once the protagonist has been awarded the torn black cloth item from Elizabeth in Persona 3. Samuel's HP or MP throughout the series is more often 616 or sometimes 666. As with Satan's HP, 616 is believed by some to have been the original number of the beast in the Book of Revelation in the Christian Bible. The two Mott mini-bosses in Futaba's Palace are the only enemies that can inflict the rat condition on the party members in Persona 5. Mott from Quilwapoth World, Path of Da'at, cannot inflict the condition. In Devil Survivor 2, Alice briefly quotes the Lewis Carroll poem Jabberwocky. The depiction of Thanatos in Persona 3 seems to be derived more from the earliest mythological accounts, being characterized as a grim warrior surrounded by a mantle of metal coffins. Pairing Mithra up with Metatron in Persona 3 will allow the use of the fusion spell Last Judge, which obliterates enemies with a gavel made up of almighty power. Genbu makes an appearance in Persona 4 the animation. In Japan, Seiryu is known as the blue-green dragon of the East. Okuni Nushi's image was described as the Japanese version of Ku Chulain during the production of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. In Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster, Suzaku's name has been changed to its Chinese name, Zukue. In Persona 3 Fez, Byaku is no longer the ultimate persona of the Temperance Arcana, and thus can be summoned without maxing out the social link. Lilim are demons who tempt sleeping men and attack infants. In the original English release of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Vitala's name was incorrectly named Rakshasa. This was fixed in the HD remaster. In Shin Megami Tensei, Incubus is merely a palette swap of another demon, Leonard. One of Arn Takamaki's costumes in Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight is a succubus costume. The snake surrounding her body is a reference to Samael, one of the consorts of Lilith. It could also be a reference to the version where Lilith is a snake from Eden that tempted Eve into eating the fruit for the sake of petty revenge. In Giten Megami Tensei Tokyo Moku Shiroku, Abaddon is one of the demons that drops a body part of the hero's girlfriend after their defeat. In a 2017 Japanese poll, Beelzebub was voted as the 8th most popular demon in the Megami Tensei series. Eligor is the 15th demonic spirit of the Ars Goetia, and a fallen angel. He governs over 60 legions of spirits. He is a great duke and appears in the form of a godly knight, carrying a lance, pennon, and scepter. In a demon popularity poll in 2017 in Japan, Chu Chulain received the 3rd largest voter turnout. In the lore path for the envoy for Messiah or the Gaia Church in Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, players were asked to defeat Uriel in a trial in Judah's spirit world. If a player answers Uriel's questions to his satisfaction after the fight, players are able to acquire a variant of him as well as the ability to fuse him. In Persona 3, Bishamonten's in-game appearance looks more like the artwork of Indra than the other heavenly kings. Saiton Taisei, also known as Sun Wukong, is the protagonist of the 16th century Chinese story Journey to the West. Masakado is contained as leftover data for Shin Megami Tensei 9 and is part of the Fiend race. In Persona 3 Portable, fusing Shiva with a Nihil weapon grants the strongest spear-type weapon, Pinaka. While not directly seen in Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, Chi-Yu is referenced to the spell Overlord, which unleashes his power to inflict multiple strike element attacks on all front row enemies. Nandi is a sacred bull that is ridden by the god Shiva in Hindu mythology. Its duty is to play music for Shiva to dance to. Kaiwan's first appearance in this series was in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Ganesha goes by both Nesajam and Nesha in Demikid's Light and Dark. Garuda is Vishnu's half-man, half-bird mount. Saturnus has only made an appearance in 6 games throughout the franchise, not including ports. These are Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, Rond, Gear 10 Megami Tensei Tokyo Mokushiroku, Persona 3, Persona 4, and Shin Megami Tensei Trading Card, Card Summoner. While many interpretations depict Lucifer taking the name of Satan after his fall from grace, Lucifer and Satan are portrayed as 2 distinct characters, and Lucifer himself is rarely addressed as Satan throughout the Megami Tensei series. Instead, he is only addressed by his name, Lucifer, or to some extent, the Great Demon King, or King of Dark. Ger's 3D model in the PlayStation 2 era differs significantly from his artwork, originally from Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, lacking the exoskeletons around Ger's body. The new model that first appeared in Shin Megami Tensei Liberation DX2 is a more faithful rendition of the artwork. Yamata no Orochi appears in Persona 4 The Animation. A large statue of Gurime Kahala can be seen half buried in the sand in the initial areas of the Netherworld in Shin Megami Tensei 5. The garland and the pinecone thyras are Dionysus' traditional symbols, while the colourful pattern on his entire body can be interpreted in 2 ways. The first one is the body paint, which symbolises the revelry of the wine festival. The other thing that links to the body paint is the colourful patterns of all kinds of alcohol when magnified under a microscope. In Demikid's Light and Dark, Chernobog is known as Doomborg. Seth was originally a green snake with several scythe-like limbs. Sandalphon is in Strange Journey Redux and is one of the few demons of the title not to appear in the original Strange Journey. Yatagarasu's name in Demikid's Light and Dark is Warcrow. Quetzalcoatl can only be obtained through fusion in Shin Megami Tensei Imagine. In Persona 5, Jatayu was part of the Tower Arcana, whereas he is a part of the Hangman Arcana in Persona 5 Royal. In Egyptian mythology, Horus battled the god Set for supremacy. During this fight, Horus lost one of his eyes until it was restored by Thoth. Thus, the Eye of Horus symbol in Egyptian art represents healing. Metatron grants the equipment the Book of Enoch, which increases the user's dodge rate against magic in Persona 3. Kazuma Kaneko's design motif for Vishnu in Megami Imbunoku Persona is the king of Persona users due to his numerous avatars. Vishnu's bust still retains traditional Hindu symbols, but wears upper hose, which were popular in England as formal garment through the 17th century and can be seen in many English kings' portraits. In Persona 3, Asura is the only persona that learns the passive skill Unshaken Will, which grants the user immunity to all ailments except poison. Anubis is widely known as the Egyptian deity of mummification. In this role, he oversees the mummification process of the dead, and is usually seen in hieroglyphic tomb carvings, as overseeing the burial ritual for the pharaohs and those of royal lineage. This is due to the priest involved wearing the masks of Anubis to symbolize him as the overseer of the ritual. In Shin Megami Tensei 4, Trumpeter can be found in Kiki-Jioji Forest, where the roads meet at an X and only has a 1 in 256 chance of spawning. Even with his signature attack referencing swords, Michael has rarely been seen using a sword. Satan's skull-like face is likely derived from the appearance of xenomorph animatronic used in the first Alien movie by Ridley Scott. Once the transparent dome was removed from the animatronic's head, its face looked exactly like Satan's. Messiah's face resembles the protagonist's initial persona, Orpheus, and is holding several coffin lids on a chain, which resembles the coffin cape of Thanatos. Orpheus and Thanatos are required for Messiah's fusion, and these resemblances reference that. And that wraps up this episode of Useless Facts starring all of the personas from Persona 3. Don't forget to tell us what your favourite fact was, and let us know what you want to see in the comments section down below. Also, go ahead and click that subscribe button for more episodes of Useless Facts. Now that that has all been said and done, I am your host, Resin Unleashed, the resident who found these facts and unleashed them out into the world, and I can't wait to see you all back next time.